Hey guys, Brian Hilliard here, author of the best-selling book Networking Like a Pro and creator of the popular program How to Get 3 or More Paid Speaking Engagements a Year. And today we are going to talk about something that comes up a ton. If you are looking to get paid to speak, this is a question that you've probably already asked yourself. It's a question that certainly I had to ask myself as well. It's something that clients ask me, and quite simply it is, how much should I charge? Right? Like, all right, so I want to go out there and get paid to speak. How much, like, what's a good rate? Because it seems like the numbers are all over the place. And I think a lot of times when it comes to, if you haven't been doing a lot in terms of getting paid speak engagements or you're getting started in that regard, there's this perception that it's really hard. And that unless you're, Dick Cheney or like, Tony Robbins or like this Don Shula, the super famous actor or whatever, that you can't get paid to speak. And that's not been my experience at all. There are some certain things that you need to have in place. You need to be able to have a message that makes sense, some topic that resonates with people. There are definitely some things that you need to nail down. But once you do that, and it's only about like 5 or 6, once you get those things nailed down that are not very hard, you would be surprised. I certainly was pleasantly surprised as to how easy, relatively speaking, I mean, not fall off your chair easy, but how not hard it is to get paid to speak. And before you can really start getting paid to speak, you need to answer this question that we're going to tackle today, which is, how much should I charge? All right, so let's kind of unpack that a little bit, because that's something that can be a little bit tricky. I'm going to give you 3 questions that we will run through, which will help you answer the main question of how much should I charge? All right, so here are the 3 questions. First of all, and we'll unpack each one. First of all, where are you at as a speaker? All right, so you can just jot this down. Where are you at as a speaker? What kind of talk are we talking about? And who is this presentation or talk for? All right, so where are you as a speaker? What kind of talk are we even talking about? And who is it that this is for? Okay, where are you as a speaker? That's pretty straightforward, right? That's just like, okay, so am I just starting out? Am I Tony Robbins? Am I somewhere in between? Like, where am I? Okay, where am I on this line? And again, if you're just starting out, that's fine. If you're, if you're closer to Tony Robbins, that's also fine. But kind of get a feel on a scale of 1 to 5. Like Tony Robbins is 5, just starting out is maybe like a 0 or something like that. Like, where are you? Okay. Second thing is, what kind of talk are we talking about? And this is where it trips up a lot of people. There's keynotes. Everybody knows about keynotes, about 45 minutes. There's also breakout sessions. There's also a half-day session. There's also a keynote plus a breakout session. There's also just like a MC, Master of Ceremonies. There's also a full-day training. Like, what are we talking about? If you're talking about doing stuff for corporate, you're probably talking about like a half-day training. If you're talking about, like, for me, I'm a conference man. All right, I'm doing a keynote, for example, out in San Francisco later on this year. I'm just doing the keynote for that. In other situations, I'm doing a breakout session. I'm out in Michigan, Kalamazoo. I'm doing 2 breakout sessions. Okay. There's other situations where I'm just doing 1. I'm actually going to be going down to Florida. I'm just doing 1 breakout session. So it depends on where it is that you're trying to go. I'm a conference man myself. And what you want to do, obviously, the more time and the more energy and the more sessions you do, that's going to impact your pricing. So that's the second thing. And then the third thing, and I've alluded to this a little bit, who is this for? Okay. So pricing from a corporate standpoint is very different than pricing, they say, from a nonprofit standpoint, which is also different than pricing, say, from a trade association or business conference. I'm a business conference man myself, franchise business conferences, trade associations. That's, I found to be on a scale of 1 to 5, with 5 being corporate and 1 being like a nonprofit. I find that the trade associations and business conferences are about a 3. Okay. For me, that's perfect because I get a chance to I've got some books and some resources and things like that. So for me, I'm getting a total compensation picture, right? I'm not just trying to get, $10,000 or $5,000 from my speaking retainer. I'm looking at the speaking retainer, books and CDs and resources sold, clients generated afterwards, right? And then referrals for speaking opportunities afterwards, right? Because people who see you speak usually are the ones who refer you to speak at their groups. All right, so those are the three things. Now, let's circle back. How does that help us figure all of this out? Well, as a baseline, I tell people $1,500, and whether it's pounds or dollars or shekels or rubles, although I don't know if the Russians are still using rubles, so I don't know. But the idea is $1,500 is a good baseline number. Now, if you answered the question of just starting out and maybe you're only doing a breakout session and it's for a nonprofit, well, it's going to be less than $1,500. That might be around $400 or $500. Okay, but if you are maybe doing this for a while, 2 or 3 years, and you're doing like a keynote and maybe a breakout session and it's for a conference, well, that might be close to $2,500 or even $3,500, depending on who you are, what you've been doing, maybe even $5,000. Okay, so 1,500 is a real good baseline that I have found to be able to kind of go up and down. Now, that all, by the way, the 1,500 baseline does not include travel, meaning that any kind of paid speaking endeavor includes some type of travel. Sometimes it's just the hotel. Sometimes, I've even offered one time, I was like, I'll use my frequent flyer miles to go out there. Just put me up in a hotel. And the lady's like, no, we've got some budget for you. We're fine. I'm like, okay. But I wanted to go out and speak there. Okay, so it entails some type of travel component, usually kit and caboodle, and then it entails, being able to put you up at the hotel, usually the night before, and then from there, $1,500 is what I use as a baseline. But you want to figure out where are you at, what kind of talk are you talking about, and who is it for? With $1,500 as your baseline, and then kind of going up and down based on, I would be doing a scale of 1 to 5 on that and just kind of seeing how it comes out. That is a great start. As a matter of fact, if you'd like to talk about this more, swing on by our blog. You can go to www.practicebuilderblog.com. That's www.practicebuilderblog.com. There's a little opportunity if you want to schedule a session with me. We can do a quick 15, 20 minute, complimentary session. Let's talk pricing. I love talking pricing. I can talk pricing all day. We'll figure something out for you and get you going from there. But in the meantime, my name is Brian Hilliard, saying so long, take care, and thanks so much for your time.